Thank you for joining me today. As you can see, I have a little pick a pile for you. I was only going to make this like a one, like a, I don't like calling them collective messages, but you know, like a general message, just like one video. But when I was sitting with the energy for this reading, it became clear to me that there was two different messages that wanted to come through. So that's why we're doing a pick a card here. I don't know if I'll do this every month for the full moon messages, but this month it seemed appropriate. So the first pile I have the golden Beryl, and I like this stone. I have like a personal attachment to it because my parents got it before I was born, and it like sat in their collection, and then my mom gave it to me a couple of years ago, and it's just very special to me. Okay, and then pile two is the citrine, which is a gorgeous, gorgeous piece of citrine. It's also really cool because I don't know if it's picking it up, but there's actually like little sediment inside of it, which I don't know. There's just something about it that like makes me, it like feels so ancient. Do you know what I mean? Okay, so there's pile two with the citrine, and I'll leave the titles of the decks that I'm using down below. I know that this one is Muse Tarot by Chris Ann. I'm totally blanking on what this deck is called, so I will leave it down below. And I'll also have timestamps for you down below, and I'll also pin a comment that has the timestamps as well. So yeah, let's just get into it. If you need to take a moment, pause the video. I'm not going to insert a photo like I used to do, so you know, just pause it, see which one aligns with you, or maybe you know instantly. I'm going to go let this cat out of the room, and we'll be right back with pile one. Hello, pile one. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to apologize ahead of time. I'm using like a very wobbly tripod. It's the only one that can do the overhead shot that I have. And if I bump the table, it will, I mean, it's like wiggling right now. So I'm super sorry if it's just like absolutely obnoxious. You chose the golden Beryl. I don't know too much about this stone, but I do know that there was a period in time where I put this in a plate, like in the middle of my house, like on the kitchen island, which is the middle of my house. And it like cleared the energy of the entire space. And it was just like very interesting. I don't know, it's like a stone that I don't see too often, like when I go to metaphysical shops or crystal shops. So I just feel like this is a very unique stone, and it's also a very like powerful stone, which could resonate with your own energy as well. Yeah, I'm also like, I don't know why, but I'm getting this like image of someone hiking or someone like, and I think golden Beryl is also used for divination, but I'm seeing like someone hiking, and that's really interesting. Or like climbing a mountain, or it feels like you're climbing a mountain, but it's actually more like a steep hill, if that makes sense. Or it could be a wave. I don't know. Okay, let's move into the cards. So I haven't shuffled yet. I'm going to try to do this without, I'm going to take my hands away because otherwise my camera is just going to shuffle. Or like, I'm all mixed up. My camera is going to wiggle. So let's see here. Ooh. Your energy feels very, like I'm needing to take a minute, ground down before I pull any cards. It feels very much like your energy is like, go, go, go. I mean, like I said, this is a very powerful stone. So it could be that you have a lot of energy, and especially like around the full moon in Leo, there could be like a lot of, maybe you have fire in your chart somewhere, maybe you're a fire moon, you know? So it's like, there's kind of this like fire that's being like lit, but at the same time, I feel like the message I'm hearing is, you know, slow down, take a breath, like just like grounding in a sense. Also, I don't know if this is going to resonate for everyone, but I feel like working with colors during this time is going to be really helpful. And think of colors not so much in terms of like chakras, but more so like for example, I'm sure you can see I have like a ring light here, right? It's actually an orange ring light, and the LED lights in my room are also set to like an orange yellow. And this is because this is the color I associate with full moons in Leo. And this is also the color that felt appropriate for this energy. It was like something that, you know, was strong, but also like the colors I'm using are very like dreamy in a sense. And I feel like, you know, for you working with colors as well is going to be helpful, whether it's like choosing your outfit to be a certain color or, you know, like just trying to sit in, like, even if you just like are looking at like color palettes and stuff like that, like I feel like there's just a connection to color. It could be like psychology based too, but I'm totally blanking on the psychology of colors, even though that is like kind of what I went to school for, or it was a part of what I went to school for. Either way. Okay, so let's center back here and get full line messages for pile 1, please. Okay, so you have this. Wait, we're going to pull the cards and then we're going to talk about them. Ooh, okay. Do I have enough space to put 5 cards? Let's see. Very interesting. That's a really interesting combination. And then you have the 9 of Cups. And then you have the 8 of Wands. Like I said, that go, go, go energy is there. Do I want to pull one more card? I think I'll pull one more card. And you have the Queen of Cups. Okay. Really, really beautiful energy. That 10 of Swords is like such a mismatch for all this other energy. So, okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the bottom 3 and I'm just going to put them to the side for now so we can talk about these first. And then we'll add them in as we go. Okay, so the first thing that I'm like really drawn to with the Page of Swords, I think this is going to be coming through in different messages. So if not everything resonates, keep that in mind. This, you know, first of all, it feels like watching something or having your sight set on something, or again, bringing focus into something. This imagery on the top here is giving me like Roadrunner vibes, if you remember that show. But it's giving me the vibe of like being focused on something, but also having like all these ideas in your mind that it's like your focus is there, but there's a hard time grounding them. This could also be like having a lot of interests and like not knowing how to act on these interests, or again, like a fear of being new in some sense, or, you know, fear of like not knowing something. The Page of Swords to me is also like, there's someone who, they're really good with words, but it's like, there's almost like a fear of being wrong, or there's like a fear of, how do I put this? It's like knowing that something is for you, or like keeping an eye on something, but at the same time, like not letting that kind of run you wild or run you down. Because I feel like the 10 of Swords, like the 10 of Swords is a card of dramatics. It's a card that it does, you know, mean that there could be like an abrupt ending or some sort of pain. But I feel almost as if like what you've been going through is like it's like a ending that's necessary, especially compared to the other cards. I also feel like the 10 of Swords, you know, it can be when you yourself are like, I can recognize that I'm overthinking here. I can recognize that like I'm, you know, in a position where I feel really trapped. I'm in a position where I feel really like betrayed, or I'm in a position that just does not feel that great to me. So let me find a way out of it. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to just release this. And I feel like with the full moon is a great time to release those things, you know? I also am kind of getting, this message will not be for everyone, so I'm only going to just like touch base on it. But I could also feel how there could be somebody that you know, have your eye on, or that, you know, there's like somewhat, the Page of Swords to me can be an interest, you know, it's like having an interest in somebody, or having like your eye on somebody, especially if you like notice the glasses and stuff. But I feel as though there's something about that that's coming to an end, or there's something that you discover that maybe is a little bit more tricky or difficult, but this really is for the greater good. Like, you know what I mean? This has like this ending needs to happen so that you can really find that harmony that you're seeking in something that's more solid and stable. Again, I'm gonna just touch base on that, but basically the way I see it is, you know, in terms of like creativity, in terms of desires, in terms of wanting to build something, you know, I feel like you have very big goals, you have very big desires, you have very big dreams, you know? And I feel like to you, you know, how do I put this? You're somebody who sees things in a very unique way. Like you see the pain around you, but you also see how pain brings beauty into things. And you are somebody who's able to see like, yeah, like the way of the world might not be great, you know, or like there could be things in your reality that are not necessarily great to deal with, or you know, you see how I get the feeling with the Page of Swords that you like see through people's shit, you know, like let's put it this way, right? So say you're watching a YouTube video and maybe you like commentary YouTube videos because it's the Page of Swords. And say you're watching these commentary videos, but then it's like as you're watching, you know, you can see how the person who's giving the video, like who's giving the information, they themselves are limited in their own information or in their perception of things or in their perspective of things. And I feel like for you, like with the Page of Swords, like you at one point were as well. It's like you had a very limited view on how things worked, or you know, like your opinion was kind of like all that was. But it's like that's coming to an end, and it's like the Ten of Swords here gives me like a rebirth feeling. It gives me that feeling of, you know, grounding something in so that you can see it from a bigger perspective. And it's almost like for some of you, I kind of feel like you had this way of thinking, or like, you know, I don't know, I'm gonna just like quote a TikTok that I saw recently, how, you know, someone commented on a girl's clothes that she was wearing, and they asked her like, you know, if she was at the emo convention or something like that. And she replied like, no, I was just at my grandmother's funeral. And it was a joke. That video was a joke, but like that's the energy that it's reminding me of, where, you know, like you say something to somebody like thinking that you know what's going on, or somebody has said something to you thinking that they know what's going on, and then it's like your response to that is just like, no, it's actually this. And like I think even if it's not like from external situations outside of you, I feel like this is an internal thing too. It's like a thing where you're becoming more aware of it yourself, where you're like, okay, there's more than one view, there's more than one experience, there's more than one. And those things sound very duh when you say it, but like as humans, we are super, like we're super selfish, you know, like just naturally, like we think about the way we think of and see things. And especially depending on what environment you're raised in, you know, like I know personally I was raised in an environment where everyone was not like narcissistic, but more so just very focused on like what's best for them, not necessarily what's best for everyone else. And like having very little compassion or empathy to those around them. So like if you've been raised in that sort of an environment, like it's almost like you have to train yourself how to think bigger, you know what I mean? And I feel like that's kind of just an energy that's coming up for this full moon. It's like, what in your mind or what way of thinking do you want to release? Like what way of thinking, like what negativity are you looking to release? And I feel like it's not even about like, you know, negativity is always going to exist. It's not something that you can just like snuff out like forever. And the thing is like negativity, I feel like there's a connotation between negativity and being really bad, and of course there is, but like at the same time I feel like with the Ten of Swords here, it's like floating in a center space, you know what I mean? It's like floating in a space where you can see that things, you know, are on a scale, they're on a spectrum, and it's like it might be bad on one case, but it might be good in another, if that makes any sense. And I feel like also like you just have this spark where you want to bring your perceptions and your way of thinking into the realms of other people. You know, it's like you have these lofty ideas, or you have these big dreams, you see like harmony, you see people connecting, you see the bigger picture. Do you know what I mean? Like this to me is such a gift, because it's like you can see the promise, or you can have that little bit of hope that you hold on to. And I feel like that hope, you know, it touches every person you meet or every person you interact with. You know, this is reminding me of like when you go to the store and you're in a good mood, like you're feeling good yourself. So you see the cashier, and instead of like having this like wordless interaction or this very like professional interaction, you know, you ask them how their day is going, or you ask them how they're doing, or you know, like you ask them how work has been or whatever, right? Like there's just a, and it's in an authentic way. It's a way that you approach it so that it's like, and this is obviously just an example, but it's like it's that sort of energy where like, you know, you just being yourself and like going about your day and like talking to people who you interact with, like those interactions mean so much to those people. Do you know what I mean? And I also do feel like, because this is an obvious ending to something, you know, it's an ending to something that was very sharp, very like this imagery is very intense, but it's also very dramatic in a sense. And I feel like, you know, it swings. It's like there's this closing out, because it's like you can hold space for whatever is painful here. You can hold space for whatever is weighing on your mind, and I feel like you can almost, you know, bring harmony into your life. And it's made you feel so much, you know what I mean? So let's look at the next three cards. Then you have the Nine of Cups. So again, I feel like something does end, but it's like it's the start of, like, these two images like really play off of each other to me, like these two. And it's almost because, like, you know, you go from this overthinking to finding that peace, and it's like you can just reach out and take the nuggets that you need, you know. And I feel like this also has to do with like a lot of emotional fulfillment. So it's like you're going from a very mentally strained place into something that's more inspired, into something that is more uplifting, something that feels, you know, it feels very enlightened in a way. And it's funny, like this card, when I pulled it, it instantly gave me hermit vibes for some reason. So I feel like there's something about, you know, getting still, you know, surrounding yourself with things that you enjoy and that you love, you know, finding the nuggets that are gonna like, I'm thinking of Big Magic. Hold on, wait, I think I have the book right here. Yeah, I do. I'm thinking about this book. Beep. I actually haven't read the whole thing, but what I have read talks about how we each have these little crystals inside of us, these little treasures. And it's like finding the treasures within us. And when you do find those things that, you know, glitter and gold, it's like there's something there to be found that's happiness. And I feel like that book might be a book for some of you to read, or, you know, look into, or, you know, that sort of thing. Then you have the Eight of Wands and you have the Queen of Cups. This really does give me such a creative vibe. Like this deck in general is like very creative, but also, you know, seeing your like the Page of Swords growing into the Queen of Cups. That's kind of that movement I was talking about, where you see things in a certain perspective, and then it's like you ground them. You know, you let go of all the inner critic, or you let go of all the or it's not letting go. It's recognizing when you have that inner critic, or when you have that judgmental mind. And, you know, I feel like your judgments are valid whenever you have them, but at the same time it's like looking past that and going into the heart space, being very open. And like that perception is like, it's a psychic gift in itself, you know, like that is to me clairvoyance, when you can see things that other people are not seeing, or when you can, or it's, you know, clairaudience, like when you hear someone say something and you get a totally different message, you get the real message of what they're saying. It's like the things that aren't being said or aren't being seen, but you can see through those, you know. And I feel like a big part of this is also like moving, you know, like there's a sense of movement. There's a sense of, okay, I have these ideas, I have these actions I want to put into place, I have these inspirations, I have, you know, there's so much here that you are like holding on to, and that is so valuable to you. I feel like when you release the expectation of yourself, or when you release, it's like these two cards lining up together, it's like you release something, and then it's like you just zoom forward, you know? And I feel like honestly with the Ten of Swords, it could be something that is very deep in like subconscious level, you know? So I feel like that's kind of why meditation comes through. But I'm going to suggest that you do some sort of meditation, or listen to some sort of frequency, if you're comfortable with that. That has to do with cleansing the subconscious, you know, fears and things like that. That maybe, and here's the thing, right? You don't have to be aware of what these things are, but there has to be a willingness to cleanse them. And I think that might be a really great intention for you this full moon, you know, on top of whatever other intentions that you're setting for yourself, is to really cleanse out, you know, those fears that are holding you back, cleanse out those negative beliefs, you know, those things that, you know, when you go to start something, that little voice in your head goes, oh, but you'll never be able to do it, or oh, like, you know, you won't be able to do it that good. Like, no, you know, there's a sense of, and this has been a big theme recently, it's like doing things because they feel good and because they bring you like that sense of peace. But also I feel like for a lot of you, this is like you stepping into a power where like you are like love embodied. Do you know what I mean? And this is where what I was talking about, how you touch everyone around you, you know, like you are love embodied. So as you meet other people, as you touch other people, you touch them with love. And I feel like that's such a deep part of who you are. And I feel like on the level, like on a surface level, whew, this is a deep message. Okay. I feel like for a lot of you, you've been living a life, or you've been experiencing life in a way where, you know, people around you are very like cold, or people around you are very like cutthroat in some way. I know, like personally, I used to love watching videos of people talk that like they were just like the whole video was just like negativity. Like when I look back on it now, that's like what I was absorbing. And I enjoyed that sort of content at that time because like I was in a more I don't want to use the word negative, but I was in a more cold place, I guess. And the thing is that I'm seeing here, you know, when I was listening to those things, it didn't make me feel good because there was like a part of me that knew that wasn't really how I go about life, you know, and I don't see things that way. And whereas it is good to get other people's opinions and to be exposed to other people's opinions because it gives you more contrast in life and it gives you more information to work with. But the thing is, like, let's say you're in a relationship, right? And you're in a relationship with somebody who's really cold. Like you are this big ball of love and energy, but like you're with somebody who's just like not that. And they kind of look at that sort of behavior as like a bad thing, or they make fun of it, right? Like I don't know why I'm getting this image of somebody who like is with somebody, or they have a best friend or something, and you know, like you show up in this like Queen of Cups energy, and that other person is like, oh my god, yeah, of course you're that way, like whatever, like, or you know, you see someone in that Queen of Cups energy because you might still be kind of hidden with that Page of Swords. But it's like when, you know, you and this person see, or like someone in your life, you know, like sees this person who's like living from an authentic place of love and truth, like they get triggered, they get jealous, and that kind of like makes you feel like you can't be in that position too. So that might be why the Ten of Swords is here, because it's like recognizing where certain influences in your life are not like, they're holding you back, they're not like enriching you, you know, because like I said, you are a dreamer, you're somebody with a big heart, you're somebody who, you know, you have a vision, like you really do have a vision. And I feel as though, you know, the influences of people around you, like, yeah, like you might really care for these people, you might really value their opinions, but at the same time, like, is it stopping you from blossoming into your truth? Is it stopping you from living your truth? You know, like, are you living in that truth? Because I feel like that's a really big theme. And I feel like with the full moon in Leo, you know, you get this energy where you're able to really like ignite that. You're able, like, the Leos are all about showing off. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, this is a time for you to really find that love in your heart and to show it off, to show off to people who you are, to show off like your authentic self. And of course, you know, I understand that if you're in an environment where that doesn't necessarily feel safe, it's about the intention of finding and cultivating the environment where it is safe and where you can do that. I really do feel like as you move through this month, like you get such a push, right? Like things just start to align. And I kind of feel like as you kind of sink into this Queen of Cups energy, as you kind of like release the grip on the mind so much, or on the judgment, right? Like you're seeing things in this clear perspective, in this different perspective, but it's very grounded in love and compassion. It's very grounded in intuition. And I feel like the more you do that, the more still, like, I've been using the word stillness a lot in my videos, but I don't think stillness is really the thing here. It's like you getting quiet with yourself and again, finding those little jewels and gems within you. And I feel like as you uncover those, it's not something that you do in one day, you know, it's like, it's something that takes time. But as you uncover them, as you discover those things about yourself, things just really align. Because like the Eight of Wands to me is all about alignment. And I really do feel like as you know, it's like, in some ways I kind of see this, like, the Eight of Wands in this deck is very controlled to me because you have these two like barriers almost. And so I see this like movement, and it's like you're like, do you see how she's fading and then she becomes more solid? It's almost like this is you in that Page of Swords energy where you're like not really showing up as yourself, and then this is you as you step into that Queen of Cups energy. And I'm noticing like I think it's a sun, but it's reminding me of the moon in this card. But either way, like I see, and that's funny because like the sun in Leo, yeah, okay. Anyway, I just feel like there's like these restrictions, right? Or there's like this path. It's like a set path. I don't know if it's restrictions necessarily, but it feels as though things are happening in a set line of events, you know, like, and you don't have to know where things are going to go in the future, but it's like opening your heart, opening your mind, expressing your love, expressing like that true, authentic nature of yourself as like a compassionate being, and allowing that to unfold for yourself, you know. There is this like definite progress that happens, and like I said, it's like you fall into alignment, and then it's just you go from being in this energy to being in this energy, and this, like, being in your Queen of Cups energy makes you feel very full and whole, and also like makes you feel connected to other people. It's like a great connection to other people. And the thing is too, it's like I said, your love, your true authentic nature, like your warmness, like it touches other people. Do you know what I mean? Like it really does touch other people. So yeah, I really hope that this has resonated for you. It's a really beautiful spread. And thank you so much, Pile One, for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful full moon. I hope you set some really good intentions for yourself. I hope that you know, recognize that you do have this like brilliant love within you, and this brilliant like way of like living, honestly. Like your authentic nature is so beautiful. And I hope that you're able to, you know, set the intention that you're going to cleanse something that is no longer serving you in terms of fear, or, you know, even if it's like an environment that's really tense, like, you know, being able to detach from the environment or the influence of the environment. Again, like your intentions are totally up to you, but this just feels very much aligned. It feels very much like coming into a place of your own, coming into a place where you understand your heart and where you're like really, you know, operating from. And I truly hope that this has a message for you, or that it resonates. And I hope you have a wonderful full moon. Bye. Hello, Pile 2. Thank you so much for joining me. Ooh, so like this energy feels totally different than Pile 1. It's interesting, like just sitting here and turning on the camera, I just felt this like openness, this like clear, like, ooh, it's very, I kind of feel like things are really aligned for you at the moment, or it's like things are just like, ooh, it's very clear. The energy is very, very clear. Okay, so I'm going to apologize ahead of time. I apologize for group 1 too. This tripod that I'm using is really shaky. It wobbles a lot if I like move on the table. So sorry, I just wanted to show you how it works. It's the only one that I can use that like shows the cards, which I feel like is really important. So I'm gonna try my best not to knock and like wiggle, but I really do apologize if it's wiggling. So you chose the Citrine, which instantly just like Citrine makes me think of Leo, full moon in Leo. This is like really appropriate stone to use. Another really appropriate stone to use, which is funny because I almost chose it for this reading too, but is sunstone, and I have this sunstone right here. Sunstone is also a great one, and fire agate as well. But the citrine stood out the most to me, and it felt like, and with the way I feel your energy, I feel like this matches really well. There is a sense of like feeling very empowered. There's a sense of like knowing your power, you know, like you know how to tap into that source of energy. Let's see. Let's see if I'm seeing. I saw some things in the other video. Let's see if I'm seeing anything here. I'm just gonna look closer at it. Hold on. Okay, so I'm getting a really clear vision as I look at it. I'm seeing this like layer of ice over a lake, and they're showing me like how even when things are iced over, like yes, some species go into like stasis or go into like, you know, that they're not dead, but they're like stasis is the best word I can think of. But it's like showing me how there's still life under the ice. Really interesting takeaway on that. I'm also seeing like beautiful old buildings when I look at this stone. Like I don't even know how to describe what I'm seeing, but it's like these beautiful stone buildings, like brownstone or something like that, but like not like brownstones like what you would find in New York. It's like this is like I'm in America, so For context, I'm in the USA, and we don't have anything like this here. The only places that I've seen something similar is like in Europe. So that's just something to keep in mind. Okay, let's move into the cards. Okay, I'm going to have to shuffle away from the camera. And for this reading, I'm actually going to do it a little different because these cards are bigger and there's only so much space I have to work with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to like pull one or two cards, see where the message is, and then I'm just going to add to it as I go. And we'll hopefully get a spread here, but I don't think I can show the whole spread. So let's see. Let's start with the first card, please, for pile 2. Pile 2, please. One of you has like it's like the way that the guide is like communicating with me is like specify, like they're asking for like specifics, which is funny because the way I read tarot and the way I speak to my own guides, like I don't have to always specify. It's like it's a thing that's in my heart that, you know, comes out. So this is funny to me that this guide is like, specify please. So okay, I will specify. Can I please have a full moon in Leo message for pile 2? Those who chose the citrine. Thank you very much. Funny. This guide's funny. Okay. You have the Four of Pentacles. Really interesting imagery here. Okay. So the first thing that I'm drawn to is this like crown. It also looks like, you know, the hands around the neck. This feels like not sharing something that like there's a reason behind why you're not sharing it. That's the thing. Because like I said, I feel like your energy is very clear. I feel like also, I don't know why I'm seeing these as like chakras. So like, you know, the upper chakras, or even, it's like not even just the typical 8 that you would hear about, or 7 or 8, I don't even know. Don't come for me, please. But either way, there's this, it's like this feeling of like, really interesting message for this card. It feels very much like higher energies. There's a really big message that wants to come through here, and give me a moment, please. I feel as though there's a part of you that's like feeling as though it's hard to maybe ground this energy, but at the same time, I feel like because it's the Four of Pentacles, it is pretty grounded. But sometimes, you know, I feel like what I'm experiencing right now is what you're experiencing. So there's like something that wants to come down into your energy, but it's like there's a blockage, and it could actually be at your throat. Because throat is also connected to clairaudience. There is something that wants to come down for you, but it's also like, it's like being stuck in an old way or something like that. So let's pull more cards here and see what else comes out. It feels very much as though, you know, there's a, I don't like calling it blockage, but it's like, it's almost like holding yourself back, or like not feeling as though you can communicate the things that you are receiving. And honestly, it's giving me like High Priestess vibes, which like the High Priestess, the way I describe that card is like, it's a knowing. And like a lot of times you can feel things and like have concepts for things without having the word. It's like, it's almost like putting words to it lessens it in some way. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like that's something that you're really experiencing. But I also feel like you're someone who, this feels like a situation you're dealing with where there's like truth that's needed, or there's like fairness that's needed. And I feel as though like right now you're just kind of holding tight and seeing like what's going to happen. So let's see, how does this connect to the full moon in Leo, please? And you have Divine Wisdom. That's really interesting. That's like a unique card to this deck. But like I said, Divine Wisdom, that information that's coming down. And again, having a hard time communicating it, or not feeling like you can communicate it. I feel like this also just, it speaks to your connection. You know, like you have this very solid connection. And I'll be honest, like even this card, there's nothing really negative here that's happening. I feel like it's more so you trying to find the words, or you trying to ground this energy. I'm noticing like the stars on her face, you know, it's like there's something very ethereal about this reading. It's again very interesting messages that are coming through. Divine wisdom. I feel like, you know, this full moon this full moon has the potential for you to really get some sort of download, I would say. I'm going to share a story from my own personal experience because I recently experienced something like this, and it's just, that's like where they're guiding me. So for 2 years at least, I've been working on my YouTube channel, but I stutter a lot on it, not with my speaking, but with like, you know, I'll get into a groove with it and then I'll fall back, and it's because I always fear or feel like I don't know what to do next, or I don't feel very motivated by the ideas that I do have. So, you know, I set the intention a couple of months ago to receive information on how I could carry forward, you know, the mission that I have here. And of course, this is just a personal thing. It doesn't have to necessarily mean that you want a YouTube channel or anything like that. But, you know, what ended up happening was when I was least expecting it, when I was very open to it, I spent a day basically just getting this channeled information of what to do for the next few years. And I wrote it all down, and, you know, I've decided to stick with it, to, you know, work with it. And I feel like that's something that's very possible for you to have happen too. You know, sometimes I hear people say like, oh, well, you're not just going to get like a list. But the truth is, if you would like direction that's going to be most aligned for you, you know, not thinking about the outcome of doing those things, but literally like you have this feeling that you want to go towards something, or you have this like unknown, unexpressed desire for something, right? Like if you have that desire but you're not really sure how to go about it, just put out into the universe, ask your guides, you know, ask the divine wisdom card is giving me like, you know, the universe, like asking for that list. Like they can deliver a list. It's not always what happens. And the thing is, I feel like when we get lists, we sometimes expect certain outcomes from it. But the truth is, if you can, you know, ask for guidance and what next steps to take, whether or not you get like a few years worth of information or whether you get a month's worth of information, it's still there for you. And I feel like this information is there for you to reach out and take really whenever you want it. I also feel like for a lot of you guys, like I keep seeing the High Priestess, so I feel like for people watching this video or this part of the video, you know, you do like a lot of spiritual work yourself, or maybe you're like you do divination, or maybe like you have an energy healing you know, thing going on. But like whatever the case is, it's like, or maybe I'm also getting like very creative energy, which is funny because I got creative energy in the first one. Justice really wants to come out, so I'm gonna just, there's like a sense of fairness that you're looking for, or a sense of truth, right? Like balance, truth, harmony. But like the divine wisdom in the center, it's like there's something here big that wants to make its way into you. And I feel like the Four of Pentacles is making sure you're grounded enough to receive the information, because that's, you know, something that we don't really talk about enough in spiritual communities, is the fact that if you are working with these upper chakras, if you are working with, you know, divine wisdom, it's making sure that who you get it from is, you know, a clean source, is, you know, you're receiving the information that you want to share. I posted about this on my Patreon recently, how with clairvoyance and clairaudience, there is involuntary and there's voluntary clairvoyance and clairaudience. And involuntary is when you are getting bombarded by information, you're getting bombarded by visions, you're getting bombarded by visions, things like that. And it's like you're not asking for them, but they're still coming to you. And what I like to advise is that if you are experiencing that, to get really clear. Remember how I said in the beginning that your guide like really wanted me to specify? I feel like that's also a message for you too, like specifying where you're getting this information from, specifying where, you know, like just, it's like specifying who you want to communicate with. Because when it comes to talking like to the spiritual realm, you know, there are energies that might, give you information, but it's not necessarily true for the best intention for the highest good. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like, with voluntary clairvoyance, like that's when, you set the space, you set the time. You're like, okay, well, I'm open to receiving these messages, or I'm going to meditate, I'm going to receive. It's like there's something sacred about about getting the information. Um, setting that clear boundary for yourself in terms of like, okay, well, is this what I want to receive? I'm also noticing like the moon. I also feel like, there's just the sense of like needing some balance in a sense, or just like feeling like you're blocked off. I also kind of get the feeling that for some of you, you have these like gifts and powers, but it's like maybe in the last like couple of months you've been feeling like the messages aren't really coming through, or and I'll be honest, I feel like that's kind of a collective thing. I feel like in terms of where we are like in the collective, there is this fogginess almost, and I've heard people say, like now's really not the time for collective messages. Things like aren't really going to come through as clear. And I feel like that really does have to do with the involuntary clairvoyance, like I said. It's just something to be aware of. And the thing is, if you've ever met someone who is involuntarily clairvoyant, you know that their messages are not right for you. Do you know what I mean? Like, there is something there about that. But I feel like, again, getting fairness is also part of this. So let's see, what other messages do you have for group 2 for the full moon in Leo, please? You have the Knight of Cups. Great time to work with your creativity. Also, I feel like, the Knight of Cups to me goes forward with their heart on their sleeve, right? So whereas you have this like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like she's closing off her throat. And I feel like that's, moving more into a stance of like, okay, I'm here, I'm gonna put myself out there a little bit. I'm gonna, show something to the world. I'm going to move on my intuition. Being a dreamer, I feel like, there's a sense of feeling like you've been holding yourself back, and it's like no longer doing that, let's see, you have the Seven of Cups, so yeah. It's right under Divine Wisdom, so that kind of goes into alignment with what I was saying, but I will say also, the Seven of Cups makes me think of, so a very specific message, but you have the Knight of Pentacles here as well. So the Seven of Cups to me, yes, it can mean confusion. Yes, it can mean, illusion in some sense, which we were just talking about. But also, if we look at these cups, they are all filled with something, and it's not like you have to choose one cup over the other. I feel like all of the cups are blessed. So you could be somebody who has many talents, who has many interests, who has many skills. And I feel like recognizing that there's, some cups are better than others, but it's like, there's no wrong choice. Do you know what I mean? The bottom of the deck is the Fool. So I feel like there's a choice that they want you to make. You know what I mean? It's like no more holding yourself back. No more staying still, or no more. It's like letting indecision stop you. But then you have these two knights, which is like very much, grounding your creativity, grounding your decisions. And I like how they're both looking at the cups. So I feel as though also, this could have to do with people who can help you in terms of whatever it is that you're trying to create or build. People who can assist you. And also there's a sense of these two knights, they go more slow, like they're more of the slower energy. And I feel like it's taking your time, taking things one step at a time, recognizing that if you want all these cups, like you just have to take one at a time. And like with the Seven of Cups and the Fool, both of those cards speak of choices to me. It speaks of having lots of options, having lots of doors that are opening for you, maybe not knowing how to ground that energy. And that's why the Four of Pentacles comes in, because it's like, when we start getting up into the upper chakras, it's really important to ground ourselves down so that we can actually utilize the information, so that we can, be sure that the information we're getting is really clear and pure. And like I said, when I first started, your energy is very open. Like you have this really clear, open energy. So it could be that you already have a great trust and connection with spirit, For others of you, I feel like it's kind of developing that trust in yourself, or even like recognizing that in yourself. But for a lot of you, I feel like you do recognize these things. It's just like you're waiting for something to happen that's going to kind of make things more balanced or make things more fair for you. And I feel as though it will come, but like the thing is, the Seven of Cups is very much, it's like, how do I want to put this? It's like action, but it's also, it's like seeing things the way you want to see them, like through rose-colored glasses, right? So if there are decisions that you're trying to make, it's like making sure, and especially with the Knight of Cups, there's something about making sure that you see something in a really practical and grounded way. I feel like that is like the balance that you're seeking. It's like the balance that's needed in your life right now is not so much, all this spiritual information, or there's a sense of grounding whatever it is that you have around you, because I feel like there is this wave of information that wants to come down into you, and it's very divine in its nature. But I feel like that download, for it to happen, it's like there needs to be, again, a boundary set in terms of where you're accepting the information from, or it's only going to be for the highest good or for the best intention or whatever it is, right? I feel like in terms of like intention setting for this full moon, grounded creativity comes through really clearly, and I feel like that came through in the other pile too. But it's like there is this grounding of your passions, your excitement, your dreams. Like the Knight of Cups is a dreamer. Like that's who they are. They're romantic in nature, but like, I remember I had someone tell me once that like they became romantic for ideas of places and things, and they became romantic for memories and smells, and that, like, we look at romance in such a singular way in society, but it's like really, you can feel romantic about a lot of different things. And I feel like that's also kind of coming through here, where it's like you do have this divine wisdom that wants to come through. You have this very beautiful, sacred connection to spirit. And I feel like there's a sense of not rushing off with it, like not like, because I feel almost as if, without the groundedness, like that information can be too much or overwhelming. It feels as though, like you are wanting to express something, or you're wanting to go about something. But again, it's like working on it a little bit at a time. And even if the Seven of Cups, you're wanting to work on multiple things at once, it's just chipping away small bits day by day. You know what I mean? It's like not overwhelming your schedule. And I know personally, like I have ADHD, and I'm sure people who watch me also have ADHD, or at least a couple of you. And the thing is, with ADHD, we have this all or nothing thinking. We have this like, if we have a list of things, we get overwhelmed by it. But there's also a sense of like being able to organize yourself in a way that like it's not overwhelming. You can have a list of 100 things and, narrow it down to 2 things a day or 3 things a day. And then over time, it does chip away and come towards it. I also will say, okay, I'm getting another message for this pile. I feel as though there's also been a communication that's been needed, or like there's something that it has to do with another person too. And I feel like you've been getting a lot of like guidance about this, or you've been getting a lot of like information about this in general. And I feel as though what's happening here is like both people want to discuss things, but at the same time, there's like a fogginess around how the conversation will go or what's going to happen. I want to pull a card for that. Can you please clarify what you're talking about, or, go more into it, please? Let's see. You have the Eight of Cups. I feel like, yeah, that's kind of what I was feeling. I feel like something does need to be like let go of, put down. You have the Hermit. If there is something with another person, I feel like right now is the time to go within yourself, and also just like there's something about the situation that, you know, with the Justice card, it's karmic. You know, with Four of Pentacles, it's held back. With the Knight of Cups and the Knight of Pentacles, it looks like you're going in the same direction, or you're looking at the same things, but both people have different. It's like this person's looking at this cup, this person's looking at this cup. You know what I mean? There's like a mismatch there. Eight of Cups, you know, it can speak about just doing what's best for yourself, you know, recognizing where something is not fulfilling you, recognizing where something's not making you happy. The Hermit card is also, you know, taking time out to go deep. Again, I also just think that the Hermit card here represents you because you have this very, very, very beautiful connection to spirit, and I can feel it. You have the Nine of Pentacles. Yeah, things here, it's like I see you like walking through a gateway, and then it's like, oh, I'm free. I'm, you know, I had to sacrifice something, but oh, I became so much more alive by it. I feel like this is giving me like matched energy. So it's like you go through that portal, and then it's like, oh, I'm like really in this, you know, beautiful place. I'm really in this whole environment. And then you have the Page of Cups at the bottom of the deck. I feel like there's definitely a sense of like going, like, okay, look at this. Y'all are like at a doorway. Like that's what this is. And I feel like this message is honestly, like, I feel like I'm going to be honest. I feel like a lot of you are very, very, very connected to spirit. And I feel like the thing is, the message that's trying to come through is like almost too much for me to put into words. And I feel like that's, you know, also why that Four of Pentacles is showing up. I feel as though a lot of you, it's like about trusting that doorway that you're standing in front of. Like there is an entire new field of view, or a totally new perspective, or a totally new place in your spiritual practice, in your spiritual life. I also feel like, you know, with the Hermit card and with the Nine of Pentacles, it's just giving, and honestly, like for all of these to have like a doorway like that, I just feel like you are like, tarot is known for gateways, you know, like there's gateway cards, and I feel like you're at a gateway, and I feel like with whatever is on the other side of that gate, like there's nothing I could say that would prepare you for it, because for each person it's going to be different. But at the same time, there's like this feeling of renewed hope. There's this feeling of like curiosity, and I think that's kind of the message here that's coming through too, is like it's not about holding, like I see you holding yourself back in some way, right? But then at the same time, it's like recognizing that what's through that other door, you can go through it with open, like an open mind, curiosity. You can, it's like for a lot of you, I feel like you're right on the cusp of just like breaking free from something. And I feel like a lot of you have already decided to let something go. You've already like recognized, you already made the choice, right? And I feel like this full moon is like about fully embracing it and going through that door. It's like fully going through. It's fully like opening yourself up, because I feel like when you go through that gateway, it's like this massive transformation takes place, but at the same time, it's so subtle in your day-to-day energy. Do you know what I mean? Like day to day, it feels very like it's happening so subtly you might not even notice it's happening. But I feel like there's no more holding yourself back. You know, I feel like spirit is guiding you in this direction. I feel like you know that you are like outgrowing your current like shell. Do you know what I mean? It's like you're in this transition period where you're like, I gotta get out of this, like these tight fitting clothes, or I gotta get out of this, like this cocoon that I've wrapped myself into. Because I feel like on the other side of that is just, there's a lot of abundance, there's a lot of enjoyment, there's a lot of creativity, there's a lot of wisdom. And I feel like you already are so wise. And it's just about stepping through that gateway, whatever that gateway represents for you. Because I really do feel like there's just this sense of freedom on the other side of it. And I feel like this full moon, a really good intention for you is, you know, I see the gateway, I'm going through the gateway. And I really hope that this has like resonated for you, that this has a message for you. Your message was very different than group one's, even though some things aligned. But I really do feel like, you know, that fairness that you're looking for, that justice, or whatever it is that you want to say, look at this. There's something really beautiful at the end of it, you know? There's something like, oh, yeah, like this is clear, and this is, you know, what I want. I think I am also uploading this, if not on Valentine's Day, it's like around Valentine's Day. So for, around the full moon, it's like you could be shadow work. That's funny. This could be something that you're working on. It's interesting. This deck only has 2 unique cards, and you got both of the unique cards. Like I said, there's something about you guys that's like, I don't know, very open. Like group 1 was really unique, but like you guys have this like very spiritual energy. This could have to do with like, harmonious relationships to others, the ability to celebrate something, connections with friends, family, lovers. But yeah, I'm going to leave this here. And I really hope that this has a message for you, or that this has resonated for you. Thank you so much. Bye.